Hello students to my channel Pharmaceutical Concepts. Today we will learn about the qualitative analysis of the organic compounds. Certain preliminary tests and physical examinations which are to be carried out to identify the given sample in the organic chemistry lab that we will see today in this particular video. Before that, if you have not yet subscribed my channel, please do subscribe and keep me motivating. As we all know, there are two types of compounds, inorganic compounds and organic compounds. Inorganic compounds and its laboratory, its practicals, we have already learned in semester 1. Now in semester 2, we are dealing with organic compounds. We all know from the beginning that organic compounds means the compounds having carbon hydrogen framework. Okay, whereas inorganic compounds like silver nitrate, like NaCl, where there is no carbon, no hydrogen, these are called as inorganic compounds. Inorganic compounds are usually ionized in the solutions and they can be detected very easily by means of certain ionic reactions, because here we just have to identify the positive ions and negative ions. For example, sodium chloride, the example which we have seen just now. Okay, when I put sodium chloride in water, it will get ionized as Na plus and Cl minus. Okay, now if I want to detect this Cl minus, what I will do, I will add the reagent like AgNO3. Okay, now from this reaction AgCl will be formed, which is nothing but a precipitate. Okay, so this all, everything about the inorganic compounds we have learned in semester 1. Now coming to the organic compounds which we have to learn in this semester, that is semester 2, these are not appreciably ionized in solutions. I mean, not all organic compounds are always available in ionized form. Okay, therefore identification of organic compounds requires study of elements which are present in the compound. Elements means carbon, hydrogen, these are the elements. Since these are organic compounds, we know that carbon will be there, hydrogen will be there, definitely. But other than carbon and hydrogen, whether oxygen will be present, whether nitrogen is there, whether any halogen is present, whether sulfur is present. Okay, so this we have to detect by carrying out certain chemical reactions. Okay, that is called as elemental analysis. Also, we require this study of their linkages with each other. Okay, whether this oxygen and hydrogen, after linking together, they form the alcoholic group. Okay, NH2 amino group, SH thiol group. Okay, so this linking of elements together we have to study. Then physical and chemical properties we have to study to identify the given sample, which is the organic compound. Okay, so here we will study the melting point and boiling point of the given sample. If the sample is liquid, we will carry out the determination of its boiling point. If the sample is solid, then we will carry out the determination of its melting point. A systematic study of an organic substance involves the following operations: preliminary tests and physical examination, physical constants, that is melting point or boiling point, elemental analysis, detection of functional group, and preparation of derivative and its melting point and boiling point determination. Okay, so in this video I am focusing only on the preliminary tests and physical examination. Okay, so we have to study step by step. This is the first step. Then in second step we can determine melting point of the given solid sample. Then in third step we can determine the elements which are present in this sample by carrying out certain chemical reactions. In the fourth step, we can identify the functional groups which are present. And in the fifth step, we can prepare the derivative. Okay. Now, what are these preliminary tests and physical examinations which are to be carried out? First, the nature of compound. Second, color of the given sample, odor of the given sample, solubility behavior of the given sample. Heating in dry test tube, we have to observe the results. Then we have to carry out the tests for its aromaticity and test for saturation and unsaturation. These are now nature of the compound. The given sample could be solid, liquid or semi-solid. As far as first year B Pharm is concerned, we usually give the samples which are solid in nature and only some of the samples are liquid. Color of the compound. If the given compound is a white crystalline compound, then it could be an aromatic amide or carboxylic acid or ketone, carbohydrate or polynuclear hydrocarbon like naphthalene. These all possess white crystalline appearance. The given picture is taken from the internet, and that is the benzoic acid. You can clearly see the crystalline appearance of the benzoic acid. The given compound could be only crystalline. It may not have any color, just like the table sugar. This is the table sugar, and this is the urea, which is the aliphatic diamide. Okay, so next, the sample could be colorless liquid. Then it could be aldehyde, ester or alcohol. The sample could be a yellow color liquid. So yellow colored compound means the presence of nitro group. Or the compound could be a brown or black color liquid like phenols and amines. Next, odor of the compound. The extremely useful care which we have to take while working in laboratory is that we just have to waft the fumes. We do not have to inhale the fumes directly by taking that particular compound or test tube very close to the nose, because that will trouble the person who is doing that, the student who is doing that. Some of the compounds which do not have any characteristic odor could be carbohydrates, acids, ketones and amides. Some compounds have very pleasant fruity smell, and those could be from the category of esters. Phenols, they usually have carbolic smell, and the halogen compounds, they have very irritating smell. Amines, they usually give fishy smell. Bitter almond smell is from the aldehydes or nitro compounds, and naphthalene or the hydrocarbons, they usually give kerosene like smell. So we have seen how from the color, odor and nature of the compound we will observe, and the inferences can be drawn from the observations. Okay, the next important test is the solubility of the compound in some of the solvents like water, sodium hydroxide, hydrochloric acid and sodium bicarbonate. We have to take a very little amount of sample in 2 to 3 ml of solvent in a test tube. Shake well and observe the solubility. If the sample is soluble in either hot or cold water, then it could be a monofunctional polar group. that is up to 5 carbon atoms. Usually lower members of the series, aliphatic acids, alcohols, phenols, amines, they are soluble in water. Very complex structures, they are not soluble in water. Okay, so whenever we start with solubility test, what we will do, in a test tube, little amount of water is taken, just 2 to 3 ml. Put your compound into it, shake it well and observe. If it is not soluble, you can directly heat it on the flame, okay, just for few seconds. If it gets soluble, then we can consider that the compound is soluble in water, and it could be from the lower members of the acids, alcohols, phenols or amines. Then after this, we can perform the litmus paper test. Okay, from this solution, with the help of glass rod, we can put a drop of solution on the litmus paper and observe the color change. If the color changes to red, then the compound is acidic. If the color changes to blue, the compound is basic in nature. There are 3 types of litmus papers: acidic litmus paper, basic litmus paper and neutral litmus paper. Okay, now the acidic compound turns the blue litmus to red and neutral litmus also to red. The red litmus will not change its color. Similarly, the basic solution will not change the color of blue litmus. Red litmus will turn blue and even neutral litmus will turn blue. And neutral solution will not change color of any of these. Now, from the solubility in water and litmus paper test, we get some idea about its acidity, basicity or the neutral nature. Okay, so to confirm that, we can just take another test tube, little amount of HCl into it and put your sample and check whether the compound is soluble or not. If it is soluble, so definitely presence of basic compound like amines. In the next step, we can similarly check the solubility of the given compound in NaOH. If it is soluble, then definitely the acidic compound is present or any acidic functional group is present in the given sample. It could be from carboxylic acid or phenol. So again here, NaOH just tells us that the compound is acidic in nature, but it doesn't tell us whether the compound is weakly acidic or strongly acidic. Okay, because here carboxylic acids are strong acids, whereas phenols are weak acids. So this can be confirmed further using sodium bicarbonate. So strong acids like the compounds having COOH functional group in them, these are soluble in sodium bicarbonate. If the given sample is insoluble in all of the above solvents, then it could be a neutral compound, and thus the compound could be from the categories of hydrocarbons, alkyl aryl halides, esters, ethers, higher alcohols, aldehydes and ketones. The next step is heating in a dry test tube. So after heating in a dry test tube, whether the compound melts or sublimes, or it gives out water or slowly chars, or whether it gives away the carbon dioxide, or does it swell, or it evolves ammonia. Okay, all these observations can be made and the respective inferences can be drawn. This table I have directly taken from the Handbook of Organic Qualitative Analysis by respected V.S. Kulkarni. The next important test is test for aromaticity. Aromatic nature means the compound having the basic moiety as the benzene ring. Hitting on a wire gauge or hitting directly in a spatula. So here we are taking the solid compound in the spatula, okay, and we will keep this spatula directly on the burner and we will observe what is happening. Okay, so take a small amount of solid sample on spatula and heat directly on the flame. If luminous or white flame is observed, then the compound is aliphatic in nature. If the sooty or smoky flame is observed, like this, okay, then the compound is aromatic in nature. Unsaturated carbon compounds do not burn completely and give a flame with partially burned particles. This is called as sooty flame. Aliphatic compounds burn completely and give a clear white flame. Next important test is test for saturation and unsaturation. In this, the first test is action of potassium permanganate. Here we will take a small amount of the given sample in test tube and 2 ml of acetone is added into it. Then 1% aqueous solution of KMnO4 is added dropwise and the compound and the test tube is just shaken. So here what happens in the test tube, because of KMnO4, okay, KMnO4 has purple color. Now this KMnO4, when suppose comes in contact with the double bond or the unsaturation, so what will happen? And MnO2 is released. This MnO2 has brown color. So this brown precipitate is observed. So the test tube turns from purple to brown in color. So disappearance of purple color of KMnO4 gives us the idea of unsaturation of the compound. Means the compound is unsaturated, means it has double bonds or it has some oxidizable functional group, and brown color is because of the MnO2. Next is test for saturation and unsaturation. Under this, the next test is bromine test. So here small amount of the sample is taken in test tube and it is dissolved in the suitable solvent. In that, bromine solution is added dropwise with shaking. Bromine solution is also prepared in the suitable solvent. Now here similarly, if I have the double bond, this bromine gets attached across the double and triple bonds, that is unsaturation, and makes them single bond, that is it makes them saturated. So disappearance of bromine color gives us the idea of presence of unsaturation. Stay tuned to my channel for understanding the concept of next tests also, which we do for the qualitative analysis of organic compounds. Thank you for watching till the end and do subscribe the channel if you have not yet subscribed. Have a nice day.